You just clicked on this video, and let's be honest, right now, your Spotify playlist is probably flooded with K-pop, and last night, you stayed up until 3 a.m. binge-watching a Korean drama, desperately telling yourself, just one more episode. If this sounds exactly like your daily life, subscribe. You're going to want to see what's coming next. You probably think you're doing this out of pure free will. You think you just happened to find Korean culture trendy or fun. But the real answer is far crazier and slightly terrifying. You didn't choose this. Your brain didn't stand a chance. From the very beginning, you were targeted. The creators of Korean content have secretly reverse-engineered a flawless formula that attacks the deepest emotional vulnerabilities of the modern human brain. You are not just a fan. You are currently trapped in the most sophisticated cultural hypnosis of the 21st century. Think about the global entertainment market. It is an absolute jungle. Hollywood spends hundreds of millions of dollars on massive CGI explosions and star-studded casting. Global pop stars perform on stages surrounded by multi-million-dollar tech. Yet, somehow, a relatively small country in East Asia, speaking a language you might not even fully understand, completely hijacked your attention span. Why? Why does a story set in a convenience store in Seoul make you cry, while a $200 million superhero movie makes you check your phone? It's because modern global entertainment has left a massive, aching void in the human psyche. Western media became hyper-focused on individualism, cynical realism, and dark, shocking plots. They forgot how to make you feel. And right when the world was getting lonely and tired of sterile, predictable stories, Korea stepped in. They didn't just make entertainment, they mapped out your psychological soft spots and built a direct bridge to them. And the strategy was not random. In the late 1990s, after a devastating economic crisis, the South Korean government made a bold and deliberate decision. They invested heavily in their cultural export industry, what became known as Hallyu, or the Korean Wave. They funded entertainment companies, streamlined content creation, and built global distribution pipelines. What looked like an organic cultural explosion was in reality a carefully engineered soft power strategy. South Korea didn't accidentally go viral. They built a machine designed to go viral. And every piece of content that machine produces, every drama, every album, every choreographed performance is optimized to reach across language barriers and hit something universal in the human emotional core. The results are staggering. In 2023, the Korean Wave contributed an estimated $13.6 billion to South Korea's economy. BTS alone generated more tourism revenue for South Korea than most Olympic teams generate for their host countries. A single music video, not a blockbuster film, a music video, could generate hundreds of millions of dollars in economic activity. This is not a trend. This is the most successful cultural export strategy in modern history. Let's look at the first weapon of this formula, K-pop's legendary synchronized choreography. When you watch a K-pop group, you aren't just watching people dance, you are watching an anomaly. 7, 9, or even 13 human beings moving their arms at the exact same angle, jumping to the exact same millimeter, and landing at the exact same microsecond. Your brain is naturally hardwired to seek order within chaos. In a world that feels increasingly messy, stressful, and disorganized, your brain experiences a profound sense of psychological relief and intense dopamine satisfaction when it witnesses absolute, flawless symmetry. It is a visually satisfying experience, amplified with music. Your eyes are literally trapped by the geometry of their movement. K-pop companies didn't discover this by accident. They spend years training these artists under brutal schedules to achieve this level of perfection, knowing that your brain cannot look away from a living, breathing optical illusion. And it doesn't stop there. K-pop takes the psychological trap even further with something called parasocial engineering. Every fan meet, every behind-the-scenes video, every live stream where an idol eats ramen alone at midnight and chats with fans, these aren't accidents. They are carefully designed intimacy simulations. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real friendship and a parasocial one. When an idol looks directly into the camera and says, "I missed you," your brain releases the exact same bonding chemicals it would release if your best friend said those words to your face. K-pop groups are engineered to feel like your people, like the friends you've always wanted. And once your brain has bonded with them, walking away feels like losing a real relationship. This is why K-pop fandoms are not just fan clubs, they are communities. They have names: ARMY, Blink, Once. Millions of people around the world sharing a common language, common inside jokes, and a common emotional anchor. Belonging to a fandom gives your brain the tribal satisfaction that human beings have craved since the very first campfire. You are not obsessed, you are wired for exactly this kind of connection. K-pop simply handed it to you in a package your modern brain couldn't resist. But visual hacking only gets you through the door. What keeps you locked in a room for 12 hours straight is the emotional core of K-dramas. In Western storytelling, the plot is usually driven by individual desire, rebellion, or survival. But K-dramas operate on an entirely different emotional currency, a unique Korean concept known as Jeong. Jeong is hard to translate. It isn't just love, it is an unbreakable emotional bond, a deep sense of shared fate, sacrifice, and community warmth. K-dramas spend an immense amount of time building the slow, agonizing, yet beautifully warm relationships between characters, whether it's a tight-knit neighborhood, a messy but loving family, or a group of loyal friends. In an era dominated by hyper-individualism, digital isolation, and overwhelming loneliness, your soul is starving for true connection. When you watch these characters look out for each other, eat together, and cry for one another, K-dramas are essentially giving your starved emotional brain a warm, massive hug. You aren't just watching a show, you are filling a deficit in your heart. And K-dramas weaponize one more psychological trigger that Western entertainment largely abandoned: the slow burn. In Hollywood, romantic tension is typically resolved within the first act. The kiss happens early, the relationship moves fast. But K-dramas understand something deeper about human desire, that anticipation is more powerful than satisfaction. The moment two characters' hands accidentally brush, the lingering eye contact across a crowded room, the confession that almost happened but didn't. Your brain floods with dopamine not when the reward arrives, but in the excruciating, beautiful wait before it does. K-dramas figured out how to make your brain live in that waiting space, episode after episode, and it is chemically indistinguishable from falling in love yourself. There's also the cliffhanger architecture. Every episode of a K-drama ends at the exact moment your nervous system cannot handle stopping, not at a natural pause, at the peak of tension. Researchers studying narrative suspense found that unresolved story loops, what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect, create a mental itch that the brain is physically compelled to scratch. An unfinished story doesn't just make you curious, it hijacks your working memory and refuses to let go until the loop is closed. K-drama writers know this. They have turned it into an art form, and your brain, built for survival in a world full of unresolved threats, responds to an unfinished drama episode with the same urgency it would respond to an actual unresolved problem in your life. So, the next time you look at the clock, realize it's dawn, and see yourself whispering, "Just one more episode," don't feel guilty. Don't blame your lack of discipline or feel weird about your obsession. Your brain is simply responding to the most comforting visual symmetry and the most profoundly heartwarming emotional storytelling available on the planet right now. Korea figured out exactly what the modern human spirit is missing, packaged it beautifully, and handed it to you through a screen. You didn't just stumble onto a trend, you found an emotional sanctuary. Your brain has been hacked, yes, but it has never been happier. Now, go ahead, turn the lights off, grab your snacks, and hit play on the next episode. You earned it. And if this video made you think, subscribe to Korea Untold. We'll be here when you're ready for the next one.